Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to a brand new LP. Today, we're getting back into the Final Fantasy series with Final Fantasy 3. The Pixel Remaster version, as you saw, which is pretty closely based off of the NES version that we never got here in the States. I think the first way we could play Final Fantasy 3 was the DS version, which is the 3D remake of it, which I do plan on doing because at some point, because it's quite a bit different compared to the 2D versions of it. The 3D version kind of it has a bit more story and character to it. This is still a NES game, as you'll see. Oh, oops. So, let us make our characters. We're going to be using the names from the characters that we used when we played Final Fantasy 1. And that is how it goes. Alright, so while this little intro plays, I'll talk about my plans with this game. So my plan is to get all the monsters. We're going to fight all the monsters. We're going to complete the bestiary. We're going to get all the weapons. Well, not all the weapons. All the chests. All the hidden items. And yeah, that'll be pretty much it. I'll show off some other stuff, of course. I'll try to be as thorough as I possibly can be. But yeah. Final Fantasy 3 was the final Final Fantasy that we got that was released on, well, I guess the Famicom, and not the NES, since we never got it here in the States. And it's pretty good. I do think it's probably my favorite of like this early era of Final Fantasy games. Definitely it's got a really good, it's got a job system that laid way, set the foundation for the job system in Final Fantasy V, and it's all great. Another thing about this version compared to the NES version is, while it does have all the same jobs, some jobs do work differently compared to their NES counterparts. Basically, jobs are a bit more useful and better in this version nowadays compared to what they were back in the Famicom version. And just for clarity, while events kind of transpire a lot of the same way compared in Final Fantasy, the 2D versions of Final Fantasy 3 and the 3D version of Final Fantasy 3. They do overall play somewhat differently. Generally, the 3D version of Final Fantasy 3 is harder than the 2D versions. It also has some new side quests and stuff that you can do for the 3D remake, which is why I'm deciding to do the 3D remake separately at some point. Sorry, I'm just kind of letting the game go. We got into our first encounter, but we'll kind of go over that a bit more later. We got ourselves a leather shield already, which is nice. Gives us some defense, magic defense, and a little bit of evasion. I'll go over jobs when we actually get jobs, because we're the basic job class of the game. So don't worry about it right now. Something strange about that rock. It does look different. This is actually new. I think it's the first time in Final Fantasy that we have interactables like that. There will be moments where we can interact with a rock or some other thing and open some passage or something like that. So keep an eye out for anything weird looking. All right, here we go. So here we go. We're fighting goblins, and Final Fantasy 3 plays a lot very similar to Final Fantasy 1 and 2. So it's turn-based. We enter our commands. We'll kind of spread our damage out. Since if we can hit a goblin, they'll most likely die, since they don't have much HP. But since this is early, it's not uncommon to miss. Get a little bit of experience, and then we can move on. So one thing, just want to get this out, is I did get a new mic not too long ago, and I'm still trying to get used to like the placement of it, like how far it can be from my mouth and still pick up everything. We got Antarctic Wind there, which is good because it's a usable item in battle, and it casts Blizzard. I also think this is the first time we had combat items in a Final Fantasy game, is it? I'm trying to remember if there were combat items in Final Fantasy 2. I'm pretty sure there might be combat items in the PSP versions of them, of Final Fantasy 1 and 2, since those are like, remakes with additional stuff to them. But I'm trying to remember if combat items were a thing in the originals. Don't remember. Oh wow, we basically came across all the enemies in really quickly. So we have Carbuncle, Blue Wisp, and Ifang. Still pretty easy. This is the first little dungeon of the game. We're still in tutorial land here, so just in case. I don't think we'll kill the Carbuncle in one go. These guys do have a little bit more HP than goblins, so it might take a couple hits to kill them. But yeah, another nice thing is, just like the other Pixel Remaster versions, we have an auto battle, which speeds up things and also repeats the last commands that you put in. So since we were attacking, we just auto attack basically. But if you say you were casting a spell, they would repeat the spell when you hit the auto battle again. And here we go. We got levels. So yeah, nothing particularly good. I actually am kind of bummed that we leveled up. Not a big deal. It's probably gonna happen anyways. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not mad in a way that I'm gonna restart the playthrough. We've got goblins again. Eventually, I will edit out fights like I did in my other Final Fantasy playthroughs. Oh yeah. But right now we're still pretty early on. Look, it's a spring. Yeah, but why is it such an odd color? Absolutely, everybody knows in a survival situation, if you come across strange-looking water, you drink it. But thankfully for us, it heals us. So if you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you really wanted to, you could do some grinding around here. But this section of the game is pretty easy. Final Fantasy 3 in general is a pretty easy game. The only part that is kind of notorious about Final Fantasy 3, and I'm sure you've heard about it, is the final dungeon, because it's a pretty long final dungeon and there's no saving or anything like that, so you're kind of stuck in it. And here we go. We are in a pretty cool looking place. Here we are. We have a malicious force attacking us. Got our first boss. Sorry. So, I'm going to have Logan use Antarctic Winds because this guy is weak to ice. And the land turtle here, he's pretty easy, but he does have quite a bit of HP on him. So really just using Antarctic Winds, there's really not going to be any other good place to use them. So, just make this fight go by quicker. It doesn't really matter. You could eventually kill him just at whacking him upside the head. But that just makes life a little bit easier. And there we go. We got level 3. Now that one I am a bit more bummed out about. Because we... I'll explain why here in a second. It's, again, not a big deal. I don't really care. But I'll explain why. You 4 have been chosen. I give unto you the last of my life, and with it, light, not life. And with it, the last hope of a fading world. As things stand, light will soon disappear, and the balance of the world will be destroyed. Accept the light into your hearts, and the crystals will grant you unimaginable strength. You have been chosen to be the bearers of our final chance. Whatever. You cannot allow light to fade from the world. The party is enveloped in a bright light. Allergies are kind of bothering me today. Good old spring. Within the light, the will of the crystals surged through them. They decided to accept their destiny. Gotta save the world. That's what we gotta do. It's a JRPG. And so began a journey to dispel the darkness and return light to the world. The young heroes received the crystal's power. There we go. And with it, the world's last hope, light of hope. We got warrior, monk, white mage, black mage, and red mage as jobs. Step upon this magic sigil to be transported to the surface. Embrace your destiny, warriors of light. Cool. Now we got jobs. So let's basically going to be using a setup close to what we had when we played Final Fantasy 1. Mostly just because that's all we have. The one exception here is instead of using a black mage, I'm going to be using a red mage. The reason for that is magic in these early parts it's pretty limited. So I kind of want another more physically capable character, especially since we actually get a pretty good weapon for the red mage coming up soon-ish. Probably like in an episode or two. Sorry, my stupid nose. So yeah, let's go over the jobs real quick and explain some mechanics with them. So we started with the Onion Knight. And the Onion Knight is pretty bad. As you saw, we got pretty much no stats from those 2 levels that we got. Or anything like that. One thing that's interesting about stats, before I get too far into, is your stats are tied to your job. So, as you can see, my strength right now is 10, agility is 5, stamina 6, spirit 5, intelligence 5, spirit 5. But, if I change him to, let's say, a red mage, now he has 6 strength, 5 agility, 6 stamina, 5 intelligence, or 5 intellect, and 5 spirit. So your stats are basically determined by your job and your level. So at level 3, that you will always have 6 strength, 5 agility, 6 stamina, 5 intellect, and 5 spirit. That's how it'll always be. Same thing with spell slots, because we got spell slots again from Final Fantasy 1. Don't think they're called spell slots. Charges, I think, is actually what they're called. But same thing goes from level 1 to level 8, and that is determined by your level as well, and it will change depending on what job you are. So if you're a red mage, you'll probably have less spell charges than if you chose, some high-level spellcaster near the end of the game. Yeah. So that's how generally stats work. There is one stat that is a little bit different, and that is HP. HP is the only, random stat, meaning, you know, when you're playing, your HP will probably be different than mine because of job choices and stuff like that. Because HP growth is like determined by your stamina, and some classes, as like the monk, I mean, have a bit higher stamina. Right now, everybody's HP is going to be about the same for a while, but once we get like high, you know, the gap between magic casters and physical classes kind of grow with some their physical stats. You'll definitely see characters kind of the HP gap will grow for sure. The reason I bring that up is because you have to really kind of plan ahead if you want to get 9,999 HP. Just it's probably not going to happen. It doesn't really matter, but if you really want to, there's probably like a guide out there on the internet to get to that point, but it's pretty, like I said, it's not really, there's really no reason to do it outside of just being a perfectionist and wanting to do it. So I'm not worried about it. Whatever HP we get by the end of the game is what we get. Oh yeah, I never finished talking about jobs. So Onion Knight, basic is like the basic class or job. It sucks. It's bad until you get into those really high late game levels, and I'm talking like 80s, 90s, is when suddenly they like start super growing in their stats, and I think they're the only class that maxes out at 99 for all of their stats. So Onion Knight is very late bloomer. If you can get that high, you're probably not going to get that high of a level without really grinding. So Onion Knight, pretty useless on like a regular playthrough, but it could be fun. If you're one of the, again, kind of a completionist. It does have some really good equipment in the end game too. We'll go over that at some point. Well, yeah, at some point. It's at the end of the game, so it's gonna take some time. So yeah, Onion Knight, probably won't see that ever again. Maybe I'll do a bonus episode if I want to grind to level 99 or something and really show the power of Onion Knights, but I'll think about that. We got the Warrior. Basically, all these classes work pretty much how they work in Final Fantasy 1. So if you played that, these classes are going to work about pretty much the same. So yeah, Warrior, physical character, has the difference between Warrior and Monk is Warrior tends to have a better equipment draw, better defense, overall a bit more stalwart and a bit more tanky than the Monk. The Monk is a more like physical glass cannon type where they can deal some really good damage, but with their more lackluster equipment draw, their defense kind of falls behind, and it's not uncommon for them to take some big hits every once in a while. White Mage is the healer. You know, there you go, they heal. They got some offensive magic, but nothing too crazy. Black Mage, offensive spells, debuffs, stuff like that. But like I said, the reason I'm using Red Mage is because magic selection here at the start of the game is very limited, and it's even when you get magic, you only have a few charges anyways. So it's usually better to just not use magic in the early part unless you really need to for like bosses and stuff. You're probably not going to be casting a whole lot of spells in the early game, a whole lot. So I like Red Mage because Red Mage is, well, they're like the jack of all trades. They got white magic, black magic, and are pretty decent on the physical side of things as well. Like I said, they got a really good weapon that we'll get here eventually. So it's pretty worth using a Red Mage, at least in my opinion. But really, at this point in the game, you can use whatever job you want, and it doesn't really matter. You'll be fine. There's only a few sections in the game where the game like forces you to use jobs that you might not want to. We'll get to that eventually. But anyways, if we turn around and go back into the cave, we're in a different section of the cave. So let's go in, and here we go. We got a hidden passage. You can kind of tell there's a hidden passage if you ever see like something that looks like a crack in the wall, and also if you open the map and see like some passage that you can't really get to, or a section that you can't really get to. So one nice thing is I still had I think I'll put Judith in the back row. But one thing that you might have saw, I hit auto, and Logan was still on Antarctic winds, but since I'm out of them, it just automatically went to attack. So that's one nice thing about the auto attack, is that if you are unable to do the your previous action, it'll just make you attack. And there we go. We got 2,000 gil total out of that. That's really good. Oh, we got our first ambush. Not that it matters, but... Unfortunately, white mages cannot use knives or anything. So Judith is going to be pretty useless at this little section here. All right. Yeah, as you can see, Bob is hitting like a truck right now. So that's pretty nice. And there we go. We got our first real job level. We got job levels for Onion Knight when we were going through the dungeon. But yeah, job levels are pretty important as well. They basically increase your like proficiency with the job. So I'm trying to remember exactly how it works, but I think like after like once you get to a certain like job level, it kind of increases your, like I said, general proficiency with that job. Like I said, I think that's at least that's how I think I remember it goes. I'll could double check that, but there we go. We got bronze bracers. Got ourselves a longsword. Actually, let's put that on you. You actually are doing stuff in the front row, so. Got ourselves a longsword and a nunchaku. And that is a weapon for Bob. I don't think you can use... Yeah, you can't use longswords. That's fine. I always feel like nunchakus are actually worse, so I'll kind of like keep an eye out on my DPS with Bob. Wasn't he hitting like for 40 something? I missed. Alright, so let's take that off now. I feel like despite what it says, I feel like it's just worse. And here we go. We are at which is our little hometown. We'll go over here because we gotta talk to somebody over here. A nice thing about this place is we have free heal, a free heal spot, and a free revive over here on the right side. So if anybody ever dies or just needs some free healing, you can always come back here. But as you can see, money isn't really an issue. We already have over 3,000 from going back through that cave. Elder who raised the 4 orphans. What's up? How's it going, man? Let's understand. So the crystal made us go over there. Willed us to go over there. Okay. So I guess we're gonna save the world now. It's very fast. And that's how you know, you could tell this is still an NES game. We're basically given our general objective and told you just go do it. You know, there's no still playing as Fate. We kind of go back from step back, not you know, a bit of a step back from Final Fantasy 2, going back to more nameless characters that we create ourselves instead of having actual characters like Final Fantasy 2. All the actual stuff is in quotations, because it's not like Final Fantasy 2 characters were very memorable or anything, you know. Some of them are cool, and, you know, I like the villain in Final Fantasy 2, but generally speaking, we're, you know, this is NES era. It's simple stuff. We got some stores here. I don't think I really want to buy anything right now, except for... let's buy Poisona, which is just a free white magic spell. We'll give that to Judith. Doesn't really matter. Anyways, in town, we have our first hidden items. Right up here, right here. Potion. So yeah, kind of keep an eye out, like when you're in town, for pots and all that stuff. Like right here, we can kind of take a look and see that I missed a chest in the cave somehow. I'll probably go back and get that off screen. Anyways, as you can see, the item section underneath chests shows us how usually hidden items. I think quest items are also considered in that collection. So if you're at like 5 out of something in an area, like 5 out of 6 in an area, it's possible that what you're missing is a quest item. So just keep that in mind. But over here, my secret potion stash. Yeah, you can go down the well and get some potions. And over here is another hidden item and character picking flowers. Okay, thank goodness. Did not want to get stuck behind her. Over here. Is it over here? No, it's not over here. Okay. It seems like there should be, though. Kind of seems like there would be a hidden item over there. Anyways, we have one other thing that we can do, which is why I'm waiting to buy stuff. Is we can go up here and we'll fight some stuff. There's only stuff to fight in that like little northern path up here, which is interesting. This has to be one of the only towns I can think of, now that I'm thinking about it. One of the only towns I can think of in a Final Fantasy game where you can actually fight enemies in the town itself. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, get another hidden item right there. And one thing, as you could see, is... oh, God, dude, my nose. Hold on. Can I sneeze? Okay. Sorry about that. Ugh, we might have to take some allergy medicine, jeez. Anyways, hidden items actually like take space on the map. So if you're walking and you can't like walk over them or something, you know, they'll stop you and you'll see that question, the exclamation point pop up that there's a hidden item there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take some allergy medicine in between episodes, I think. Ugh. Anyways, I got some more hidden items here. I think we are almost good, right? Nope, we're good. We got them all. To the right is actually the switch for the hidden door. Whoa. Totally tubular, dude. Thank you. And this is why I was waiting to buy stuff. Because we got a bunch of stuff. And actually, one really important thing that we got is Cure, which will also be a spell for Judith. Anyways, We got this dagger, which we will be giving to you just for that little bit of extra damage. And we got some leather armor. Yeah. And now I feel comfortable actually buying some gear after that. So there we go. I think we're all done here. Like I said, I'll go off screen and get that chest. I don't think it's probably nothing important. It's probably like a potion. I don't know how I forgot a chest, but I did. Alright, so let's buy our stuff before heading out. I think what it is accuracy. Oh, it's probably... I'm curious. Anyways, what I really wanted to get was a staff. You know, let's buy another one. I'm curious of exactly how it's better. Oh yeah, we don't have the right character leading. That's weird. I wonder if it's that. Even then, weird. I don't know. That's interesting. Anyways, it was 60 gold. Gil, not gold. Gil. Wrong game. Let's give that staff to you. And I think we have some armor to get. We'll buy 2 more of those. And 1 more bronze bracer. Oops. Oh, wrong. Armor. Part of me is actually surprised that the white mage can wear leather armor. But anyways, this seems like a pretty good place to end the episode. Next time, well, in between episodes, yeah, I tried to record this earlier and the problem wasn't the episode, it was that I saved the video, the OBS was recording in the wrong freaking format, so that was dumb. Anyways, yeah, we'll just overwrite this. Yeah, in between episodes, I'm going to go grab that chest, and then I will meet you guys back where I'm at, outside of Earth. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.